Pretty cool.
Yeah. Flew back to Travis. Stayed in Travis overnight. And when I got up the next morning, I had to catch the train in Suisun. And I'm trying to figure out how am I going to get to Suisun. And all of a sudden, I see this guy driving up in a pickup. This kid gets out. He looks at me and says, "Hey, Leroy, is that you?" It was one of my classmates. Aloysius Yen. So he drove me to Suisun. I got there, got on the train. I was supposed to get off the train in Martinez, but I wasn't really paying attention. I stayed on the train all the way into Oakland. I followed everybody, got off the train, got on the bus, went over to San Francisco on the bus, got to the train station there, and went looking for my track that I was supposed to get on. I couldn't find it. So I seen a conductor. This guy's probably 6'7", 6'8", big guy. So I asked him, I said, "You know where this track is?" I give him my tickets. He looks at my tickets, and he looks down at me and he says, "Son, go off." I said, "Don't remember that." He said, "Son, you're off." He said, "Come with me." So I followed him. He said, "Sit on this bench and you stay here and don't go anywhere. You wait till I come back." So he was gone for about a half an hour. He comes back. He's got all the tickets in his hand. He hands it to me. He says, "I got you rescheduled." You go outside, you sit on the bench and wait for the bus. And when the bus gets here, you get on the bus, you go back to Oakland, and I forget what track I was supposed to get on. But you don't get on the train, and you stay on that train, and you don't get off of it until you get to Chicago. And in Chicago, you transfer to another train to go to, where did I go? Oh, Fort Eustis, Virginia. So I said, okay. So I get out there, bus comes, I get on the bus, get over to Oakland, I get on the train, and the train I got on was a steam engine, wasn't a diesel. So I got on the train, so we left, we're headed on out, and we're going along, and finally we start slowing down. So the conductor comes by and said, "Are we in Chicago yet?" The conductor told me, no, we're a long ways from Chicago. Okay. So every time the train stopped, we got into Las Vegas, and I asked him, "Are we in Chicago yet?"
Are we in Chicago?
Well, I had no idea how far
well,
Chicago.
Yeah.
I didn't know how big this country was, you know. I didn't know. Just a GI from Hawaii that never left the islands.
Yeah.
So the conductor come up to me. He said, "Look," he says, "when we get to Chicago, I'll let you know. But I won't be on the train when you get to Chicago, be another conductor. But," he says, "there's a lot of stops, and we're not going to be in Chicago for 2 days." I said, "What?" He said, 2 days. I said, "Okay." So, but on that train, one of the things I didn't have to do, I didn't have to buy a drink. I didn't have to buy dinner anytime I went to go and eat. Somebody always paid for it.
Were you in your uniform? Is that
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. That was right after the Korean War was just over, you know. So we got into Chicago, and I'm looking, God, what is it? That is the biggest train station I've ever been in.
Yeah.
It's huge. So I got on another train going to Fort Eustis, Virginia.
Yeah.
So I get on the train, and the guy told me, he says, "You don't get off this train, you stay on this train until you get to Virginia." I forget. Williamsburg is where I got off. And I remember stopping off in the mountains in West Virginia. And got off, train stopped because it had a stopover for about 20 minutes. You know, people getting off and getting back on again. Way up in the mountains. And I went and got a sandwich, and I wanted a Coke. So I got I remember I got a tuna sandwich, and I wanted a Coke. And the gal in the back there said, "You want a what? You want a Coca-Cola?" I said, No, I want a Coke." "No, you want a Coca-Cola."
Coca-Cola.
I'd never heard of a Coca-Cola before. I said, okay. Well, when she brought the bottle of Coke,
Right.
I knew what it was.
Coca-Cola.
So we get into Williamsburg, and the train that I was supposed to get on didn't get there yet. I was 20 minutes ahead of the train that I was supposed to get on.
Right.
Wow. Yeah.
That's